turn to politics here at home. Republican House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says he still wants to talk to Gal Luft, the so-called whistleblower who Republicans have claimed would expose alleged corruption by President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. That's despite the Department of Justice indicting Luft on charges of acting as an unregistered agent of China, lying to law enforcement, and arms trafficking. Luft is currently on the run and considered a fugitive by the DOJ. He was initially arrested in February before skipping bail. Congressman Comer is now questioning the DOJ's timing of unsealing the indictment against Luft.
Wait, they didn't. I'm sorry. Wasn't the DOJ challenged to actually show the charges?
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of days ago, they said, "Oh well, why don't they show the charges?"
Whatever they do,
they show the charges. Then come. It's always a conspiracy theory. So what's happening is you've got James Comer standing on the side, I suppose, of people who are maybe spies for China. People that are engaging in illegal arms trafficking, people who are illegally funneling Iranian oil to the communist Chinese. Is that who he wants to defend?
Here's what Comer told reporters yesterday, followed by his appearance on Fox News.
He's a credible witness because he worked for CEFC, just like Hunter Biden. I'm not saying Luft's innocent or guilty. I'm just saying that he worked for the same company that Hunter Biden worked for, and I want to know what the company did and if he has any knowledge of what role the Bidens played.
With respect to the DOJ, I find it odd that they were very quick to move on making their indictment unsealed. But at the end of the day, you look at what they indicted him for, Brett. They indicted him for being an unregistered foreign agent. Well, that's what Hunter Biden was doing for the same company. Only Hunter Biden received hundreds of thousands of dollars more than Gal Luft received. I'm not saying Gal Luft is completely innocent of anything. He's going to obviously have his opportunity to tell his side of the story. But at the end of the day, I know this. The thing that the Department of Justice indicted him on is one of the things that I think Hunter Biden should have been indicted on for 5 years ago. So the fact that the Department of Justice has moved so quickly on Gal Luft, but they haven't done anything other than turn a blind eye to Hunter Biden is very concerning.
They were challenged to actually release the information of the indictment several days ago, if I'm not mistaken, by the fugitive himself. The fugitive said, go ahead. Go ahead and I dare you to. And they did. And it was, again, illegal arms trafficking, which I guess Comer's okay with, being an illegal agent for the communist Chinese, which I guess Comer's okay with, illegally funneling Iranian oil to the communist Chinese, which I guess Comer's okay with, lying to authorities about all of these things, which I guess Comer's okay with. It's fascinating. Let's bring in right now editor of the Bulwark, Jonathan Lass. Jonathan, my God, I mean, you talk about looking for love in all the wrong places. This Comer guy, it's absolutely horrific. Tell us who this Gal Luft is. This, as you say, this Luft, this whistleblower, this grifter, this spy, this illegal oil trafficker to the Communist Chinese Party. Who is he?
So what you have to understand is that projection is the sincerest form of Trumpism. Right. This is so Gal Luft is this guy who's co-director of a think tank in D.C. And he, unlike, like Arthur Brooks at AEI or, Tandon, he seems to spend his time running around, especially in China, doing work for the Chinese government. So his story, this is amazing, is that he is doing this perfectly legal stuff that's all above board for the CEFC, the Chinese government's energy company, and that his bosses at CEFC tell him, boy, this Hunter Biden thing that we're doing over here is super shady. And because he's a patriot, he decides he's going to go to the Department of Justice and the FBI and spill the beans on all the really bad stuff that Hunter Biden is doing. So he has a meeting in Brussels in 2019, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, when Joe Biden is not president. And he tells a delegation of people from the FBI and the Southern District of New York all the things that he has learned about the terrible illegal things that Hunter Biden is doing. And then because I guess Donald Trump's Justice Department is super apolitical, they decide not to do anything with it. And Gal Luft says that they then went and just buried all the evidence that he gave them. And he in fact told them also that the Biden crime family had a mole inside the FBI codenamed One Eye. This is all real.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
So, Jonathan, take us back to 2019 is when Gal Luft goes and talks to the Justice Department, and Donald Trump's Justice Department, Bill Barr,
yes,
they decide to do nothing with it. They found no evidence that there was a connection between Hunter Biden, the Bidens, anybody else.
I mean, you have to ask yourself how deep does this conspiracy really go, right? I mean, this is yes. So what he alleges that they went and they buried all of this, but you know, he has the goods, and we all have to take his word for it as he's putting out videos from an undisclosed location because again, he is a fugitive on the run.
And so, Jonathan, what does that mean now for the Republicans like James Comer, who still are doubling down on this guy, holding him up as the key to the entire investigation? Are they going to stick by this guy? They got to find him first, but once they find him, were they going to stick by him as the key to the whole alleged Biden crime family?
Yeah, I think so. As a political matter, I don't think they can let go of this. They got to keep doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. But what, you know, the big missing piece on all of this is, and I'm happy to stipulate that Hunter Biden is a bad guy and may have committed crimes. And it seems from the outside that there's been a pretty rigorous investigation of him. There is no evidence that Joe Biden is involved in any of this, right? This is, you know, show me one piece of evidence that the president is somehow involved, because that would be bad. Right. But there doesn't seem to be any. And I think the Republicans just have to keep doubling down and doubling down because it's one more thing that they can throw against the wall while Donald Trump has been actually indicted himself a couple of times, maybe indicted another time or two before the election. This is one of the ways they just get to keep muddying the water and pretending. I think they need Hunter Biden to help themselves pretend that the Trump stuff isn't so bad, right? This is how they convince themselves that, you know, oh, he's just as bad as our guy.
I'm old enough to remember when getting indicted like hurt your credibility, didn't boost it. But going back to fundamentals, where is Luft, and what are the odds that the American law enforcement is going to get their hands on him?
We don't know where he is. I have no idea myself. I mean, he seems to be presenting, he said in his 14-minute video, which he sent, by the way, to the New York Post, which is if I was an innocent guy being persecuted by the deep state, I would probably reach out to Reuters or the AP or Agence France Presse or somebody like that. He sent it to the New York Post. You know, make your own conclusions on that. He says that he may be on the run for the rest of his life. So he seems to be planning for the long game. And it's just amazing. You can't make this stuff up.
You really can't. You really can't.
Let me just say, and Willie, of course, I think at this point we need to let Jonathan know that the New York Post, the aforementioned newspaper, is the paper of record.